Hello YouTube from a chilly Sunday evening here in Montgomery County, Maryland. Tonight I'd like to do a quick demo about how you can sync your Palm devices like this Palm Z22 that I got as a Christmas gift in 2005 and still runs great, to your Linux machine using JPilot, the desktop organizer software for the Palm Pilot. This has been developed for some 20 years. I'll just show you the Wikipedia page really quick. It was developed by Judd Montgomery starting in 1999. The first release came out June 23, 1999, and the current stable release is actually not from 2021. There's a more recent version from 2024, I believe. It's a GTK Plus based desktop organizer for Unix-like systems that lets you sync your Palm OS devices to Linux and other Unix-like operating systems. These are just some of the features here, and now that I just briefly showed you the Wikipedia page, I'll show you the official JPilot webpage. It used to be included in Ubuntu and Debian repositories, but now you have to add it as a PPA. I believe that's Personal Private Archive or something like that. I'll just check really quick. PPA repository, personal package archive. That's what it is. So it's available as a personal package archive, and since October of this year, it's been available for Ubuntu 24.04. As it says here in the latest news page, the latest JPilot package 2.0.2 is available for 22.04 and 24.04 operating systems. As I can show you here, my desktop is running Lubuntu 24.04, so I'll need to install that version. I've already done that, and I can say it works great. I just had to do a little bit of finagling with udev rules in order to be able to HotSync my Palm to JPilot on this Lubuntu desktop. Going through the timeline here, you can see that Judd created a personal package archive for Ubuntu 20.04 and 22.04 on May 31st, 2022, and then released JPilot 2.0.2 in the PPA that supports Ubuntu 22.04 and 24.04 on October 22nd, 2024. So that's a really recent piece of news here, very recent update, not even a month old, and I'm glad I could make this YouTube video for all of you to see how this newest version of JPilot runs. Installing it was pretty simple. I just ran each of these lines separately. First, I used curl to get this installation script and then executed this under sudo. And then after adding that PPA, I installed JPilot and JPilot plugins. We can look at the requirements here, and all of these things are pretty simple and common within your different Unix and Linux distributions. I haven't looked too much through the documentation, but I think what will be really important for all of you is knowing that if you're syncing a USB-based Palm, or whatever Palm you're syncing, you'll need to do a little bit of configuration to sync it as your user as opposed to just as root. When I first installed this and tried syncing, I could only get it to work running sudo JPilot, running JPilot as root. But after doing some reading and establishing a udev rule to make a particular USB device accessible to all users, I was able to sync as my user, Abraham, on this computer. So with that, I'll go ahead and switch to this terminal window and show you how I created that rule to make my Palm accessible to all users. I'll just go ahead and show you the directory it's in, etc/udev/rules.d. There's already some snap rules. I'll just go ahead and dump to the terminal the rules I added with 10-custom.rules. I think the number has to do with the order those are read and executed. And these udev rules, there's directions for different versions of Ubuntu. A lot of these directions I found online are older, so I'll just show you here. For my device, I set subsystems USB, attributes ID vendor to 0830, and then ID product to 0061, and mode to 666. So that's accessible for root for all users in the ownership group, and then all users as well. Read write permissions. I had tried different uh, attributes and combinations of settings, but this one ended up working the first, so that's just why I'm showing you this here. After you add in new rules, there's a command you can execute to reload the rules, sudo udev admin control -- reload rules. So you want to do that once you've added in this custom rule file. Go ahead and sudo execute sudo. Another thing is if your Palm was attached before that, you'll want to disconnect it. There's the beep on the Z22. And then plug it back in. And now I'll just go home on my Palm. I'll go ahead and go home, and then just show you what has happened with sudo dmessage. Unable to enumerate. That's a little bit strange. Let me go ahead and reattach it. And hopefully, yes, there we go. That went through. And you can see that the ID vendor is 0830. ID product is 0061. It's a Palm handheld from Palm Incorporated. What a shock. What a surprise. I never would have seen that happening. And another way you can check what's plugged in is with LSUSB. I'll note the udev rule I set up is for when you synchronize just over a generic USB protocol. It's a little bit different, and I'm happy to help anyone who has questions if you use the visor module and end up connecting your Palm device as a USB serial adapter per se, where you sync your Palm and you see TTY USB 0 and TTY USB 1. Then I think you have to add your user to the dial-out group. So it's a little bit different, but not too complicated there. Anyway, going back to LSUSB, if we look at bus 1, device 094, you can see the ID vendor and ID product, Palm Inc. Life Drive / Trio 650 680 / Tungsten E2 T5TX / Centro / Zyre 213172, and then Z22, which is what I connected. So that's another nice little bit of diagnostic confirmation that everything's connected properly. And now with that done, I can run jpilot. I'll just run this from the command line. And you can see that shows up. You see my username, the date, and all the different features you see here in jpilot. And what I had done a little bit ago is use jpilot to install CIC Word Complete and the Word Complete Dictionary. That's an autocomplete app that's super, super helpful for Palms, and I'll feature in the next video that I will release after this one. But anyway, so just for the sake of demonstration, I'll show you how you can do a HotSync operation, and then after you do this, really everything else is not that complicated. What you first want to do is press the HotSync icon on the left in jpilot here. And now you can see in the command line, syncing on device USB, press the HotSync button now. I'm going to go ahead to my Palm and click on the, might be a little hard to see, on the HotSync icon there. You hopefully will be able to see the last HotSync that I did. And I'll go ahead and click the HotSync icon there. And you heard the tone, and you can see everything syncing. And that completed really quick. There's another HotSync option that does a backup here. This one should also go pretty quick because I previously did a backup, but that's nice. So say if you have a Palm that just has RAM storage, not flash like the Z22 does, non-volatile RAM, you can back up everything, and then when you change the batteries, or you let it sit out for months and do nothing with it, and then you say, hey, I want to do something with my Palm again, you can very easily sync back all the different applications and data that you had prior to the batteries going bad. Okay, so I'll go ahead and press that. I heard the HotSync confirmation tone, and that was pretty quick. I can even look at the log on the Palm, and you can see last HotSync operation was on the 17th of November at 8:42 p.m., which my Linux clock confirms is correct. Okay, and so just to wrap up, I'll show you one other thing here. Yeah, it looks like JPilot crashed there, so I'll go ahead and open that up again. In order to set the interface you use for syncing, you can go to Settings and then set the sync port here. USB colon just uses libUSB, but say you had the visor, the handspring visor kernel module loaded, then you could use TTY USB 0 or USB 1, and then set the serial rate as appropriate. But this Z22 nicely has a mini USB port up at the top, so I can just sync that with libUSB dependent transfer, which is super simple, and again is dependent on that udev rule to be accessible by my user as opposed to root. So really just that little bit of finagling, creating that new udev rule, made it possible for me to sync my Palm OS device with JPilot on my Linux machine super quick, in a super quick and straightforward way. And I hope this video is helpful to you, and also will be the beginning of more Palm OS device demonstrations. I'll show you, more applications to install, maybe how to install applications, and I'm planning in the immediate future tomorrow to have a demo of CIC Word autocomplete on your Palm. You enter in letters with graffiti, and it's super helpful to have, words auto-completed for you. A little bit of, generative AI on your Palm. If you have any experiences with JPilot or with Palm Desktop on more modern Windows PCs, please leave them in the comments down below. If you have any thoughts about the video, suggestions, other ideas, or anything else, leave them in the comments down below. I hope this was helpful to you. Thanks so much for watching, and please like and subscribe as always. Have a great one.